It is Crazy Quilty March. I'm Pat Sloan, and this is day 11 of my challenges for every day in March to get us into our sewing area and working with our stuff. And if you haven't done the calendar yet, it is key for today, which might surprise you by the title because I put out titles that I wasn't sure you'd actually know what they were going to be because honestly, I didn't know what they were going to be yet. I had an idea, but as the days come closer, then I sort of figure out what I want to talk about and what I want the challenge to be. So today is number 11, which is bright and shiny. Sort of like, how people say, the crows go out there and see something bright and shiny, or like you're going along, it's like, oh, I'm not going to do this. Oh, what is that? And you get distracted by the bright and shiny. And that is generally for a quilt maker something new, don't you think? A new project, a new piece of fabric, a new tool. Your girlfriend's making this and you're like, oh, that's really cute. I need to make that one too. Or you see a kid at the show and you're like, I need to get the kit. Okay, so what does that mean for our challenge today? Well, I have a little bit different take on what this means. And that comes from a question I had just the other day. And when I got this question, I thought, aha, that is bright and shiny day. What I forget who wrote. So if you're watching today, hi. But lots of people say this, is that you're doing a lot of projects and maybe you aren't used to scheduling your projects or aren't used to doing a lot of different things at once. Is not how your normal workflow is. And so it starts to feel overwhelming. You're like, okay, I have a block of the week and I have a block of the month and I'm following this and I'm following that. And it's just too much. But in a lot of ways, it's really not too much. It's just that you have to break it down and look at it a little bit more purposefully, rather than having it just be this comes in, what I do before, but a little organization and a little bit of forethought into how the project looks is what our goal is today. So I'm going to show you what I mean. First, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my videos. I'm trying to figure out, if you're on an iPhone, how subscriptions work on an iPhone. I had one friend try to look for it, and apparently Apple products are odd. They don't seem to have a good subscription button, and they don't seem to have a bell. But if you have access to getting on a web browser without an Apple product, like get on your web via your your desktop or something like that, that would be better because you get all the features. I don't know what Apple's doing. If any of you know how to subscribe via Apple products, the phones or the tablets, email me, pat@patsloan.com. Okay, back to this. So on the calendar, what I did is that what happens is when you have multiple projects going on, if you don't really have a plan or you don't really have a method or a strategy for working on them, they can start to pile up. Because you've said to me, you're like, oh, I'm 3 blocks behind. So I'm going to give you a little math, a very simple math here to show you. Like on the calendar, these are the blocks right now that are running. So I have the Out West and the charity block come out on the 1st. And then on Wednesday, every Wednesday is the childhood game. So that's 1 a week. And then on the 15th is another charity block and the Aurifil block. So that is basically, there's a number of days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, then Bonnie Lane too. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is 9 different things. There are 31 days in the month. So let's round it up to 10 to make it easy. So March has 31 days. Let's say you have 10 days of committed things that you're doing. Oh, they're really fun. You're doing this with this person and you're doing all of mine, of course. Of course. So that means 10 days you would sew on something, because if you would get a bonus if you made both of the ones on the 1st on the same day, then you would have another day. So if you had 10 project days, how many is that left? 31 minus 10, 21 days. You have 21 days to do other projects. That's a lot. I think what happens is you don't look at it this way. Or we don't look at it this way. A lot of people don't. You see like just the project stacking, or you get the email and then you don't work on it. Who's guilty of that? Yeah. If you got the email and then you decided to actually work on it that day or the next day or as soon as possible, they don't stack up, and you are then keeping up with it, because generally if it's one block a month, if you do it right away, then that's done. That's exciting. And you're sharing it in the group, or you're sharing it on my website so people can see it. And that's so much fun versus feeling like, oh, I'm behind. You're only behind because you kind of let it drift away from you. If you want to use the sheet here, you can just fill it in, and for the rest of March, then you can go to your regular calendar program. You can print it, or you can get one of the planners and put it in the planners. So today, look at the ones you're actually doing. That's today's challenge. Look at how many you're doing. Are you actually doing four a month? Are you actually doing 10 a month? Are you actually doing 15 a month? If you have 15 projects in the month, you still have 16 days. If you did only one a day, you still have 16 more days in the month that you can do other things, other projects, or keep working on those projects. Like if you have, to take this one step further, if you have a, like a due date for like a baby quilt or a wedding quilt, you know that it's due on June 1st. Therefore, I must have it to the quilter 3 weeks prior. So that would be in early May. In order to make all the blocks, I need to make 5 blocks a week. So that means I have to start April 1st. So that kind of a thing. So I'm going to make 5 blocks a week, and then I'll have it on time to go to the quilter, to the spa, to get it quilted. If you're not going to quilt it yourself, or if you're going to quilt it yourself, give yourself 3 weeks to quilt it, and then it'll be done for your June 1st deadline. That is a way to give yourself a nice work pace, a fun work pace. Everything about our quilting should be fun. We shouldn't be stressing out over stuff. So I have another thing before we'll come back to this at the end. Okay, we'll just recap this at the end. But before I do that, because I said there was space, some projects do work at a much quicker pace, such as, this is what I want to tell you, such as the Charming Baby Sew Along, which starts, I wrote the note down here, it starts April 7th. And I'll show you a couple more blocks from this. And this book has like 10 different projects in it. So like here's one. There's a whole baby quilt right there on the front. And so there's 10 different projects. And what we are going to be doing is making blocks, some blocks from each. I like this Twinkle Twinkle quilt with the strips. That'd be so good for busting scraps. So there's a sampler layout, and we're taking one or multiples of blocks from this every week starting April 7th. So it is weekly for 6 weeks. So weekly for 6 weeks, you will be like keeping on pace, because otherwise, if you want to finish it while it's running, of course you can always finish it later. But this is the one that here's the big block again. It has a super cute big block. Yes, and I'm using the Vintage Happy fabric, which is so darling. See how cute that is? So this is the big block that's on the cover. So there'll be one of those in the sampler. That's this one. I love the one on the cover. But there's also, let me just show you a couple other ones. Here's another block from one of the baby quilts in the book. And there's a blue version. Look how cute that is. Here's a red version. So you would be making on one day, like however many this is, like 4 or 5 of them, would be one week. You could make them all in the same day, or just know it might take you 2 days to make them. Here's another cute one, is the arrows. That's such a darling quilt in the book. Here's one of look. And so you make a couple of these for the sampler. So the sampler is a bit bigger. What's nice about doing the book as a sampler, which we've done several like this, is when you make just one or two or a couple of the blocks, you get a feel for what they're like and whether you like making that block, whether that be fun then for a future baby quilt. So that is in here. Okay. Oh, I forgot. Wait, before I go, let me show you. I made progress on the charity Bloomtopia stitchery that I'm also doing. Also doing the stitchery. So that's on that's like an ongoing thing. I actually have it down here on my table. So I'll just roll you down. It's like right now on the table, I've got all the parts, the different things. Oh, my lamp is in the way there. You can't see. So there, I've just got all of this laid out so that I can be working on it and just come over and do a few stitches. That I find that very useful. It's a little harder to move my phone there than the big camera. Okay, so today's challenge, Crazy Quilty March, is for you to actually list the projects you're currently sewing on. See if it's 5, see if it's 10, see if it's 15. These are things you're currently working on, whether you're getting it in a block of the month or a block of the week or twice a month block, or whether it's a project like a baby quilt that you're like, okay, I have to do so many blocks a week, or a wedding quilt, or just one that you're doing for fun that you want to make. Whatever it is, list them and take your calendar and just do it from the top and just take your March calendar so you can visually see which days do they come in on, which days are you sewing on them, and then how many days do you have left in the month. I bet you're surprised because I doubt any of you are working on 31. At least I hope not. Oh, I hope not, 31. So I love you. I love you very much. And I want you to do this because I want you to feel empowered by your quilt making. This will make you feel in charge of what's going on, of what you want to do with your fun. You will know where your time is going and how much time you have devoted to this. So share a picture, right? Put your notes down and then share a picture. If you need to print a new one, just print a new one. I'll put all the links under the video. See you later. Have a good day.